West Coast Davengers.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I can't even, in good conscience, vouch for this episode. I just know that if I don't, Comic Tim is going to harass me about it. I mean, he's literally in the other room, like kind of waiting for me to record this intro.
Tell him about the show, man. Whoa.
I know, man. I know. I get it. Comic Tim, some of you may know him. He comes on this channel every once in a while. He says a bunch of stuff that's completely false and not real. And he used to have a show, an interview show back in the 80s called Comic Tim's Interview Sesh. And you might have seen some of these vignettes at DavengerCon, but it's the only way to keep him kind of at bay. Keep the monster at bay. So before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for watching. And I understand if you do unsubscribe from this, but you know what? It's harmless. It could be worse. He could be telling you to buy Turox. Instead, he's bringing you these great interviews. Please subscribe to my new podcast on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple. It's called Direct Edition. It's a great podcast that's not always comics heavy, but it is a big part of who I am. Without further ado, I present to you the lost tapes of Comic Tim's Interview Sesh.
Whoa.
All right, shut up.
In 1980, Comic Tim had a little-known interview show called Comic Tim's Interview Sesh. It only had 2 episodes and was canceled. Recently, those tapes were uncovered.
Hey, are we good to go, man? Whoa, man. I'm Comic Tim. Welcome to Comic Tim's Interview Sesh. And I'm your host. I said that already. I'm Comic Tim. Yeah. All right, well, today we're here with one of the founding members of the retail giant Sharper Image, Todd Mcfarlane.
Todd.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Todd Father, Todd Mcfarlane. Yeah, man. All right, Todd Father, how are you doing today, my friend?
Why am I here?
You got some TV show on behind you. What is all that about?
Why am I here, God?
All right. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's start out before the Sharper Image and everything. You grew up in Canada, right, man?
A dark, foreboding world in front of crosses in the valley of the dead.
Now, your father, he was a priest or something, right?
You know, he's a devil. Okay, simple. It's no deeper than that.
Oh, okay, all right, man. Well, I'm not really into the religious stuff, but I guess we could talk about it a little bit, if you'd like.
So once you start dealing with certain themes, people get kind of weird about it.
All right, man. When you started the Sharper Image with your buddy Rob LaFeld and Jimothy and all them, did you really want to get into massage chairs? I thought you were a comic booklet artist, man.
Whoa, you guys better tread a very fine line. 200 years ago, there's a great wise man that once said you can't please all the people all the time.
Interesting. I would never have known that. Now, you're a bit of an enthusiast of sports, you know, hockey and the baseball. Anything you want to say about that?
When I went to university playing Pac-10 baseball, I was center field.
All right, man. What's one of your favorite comic booklets as a kid growing up?
Batman is the kookier of the two guys. He just wants to hang around in a cave and be a giant bat.
All right, well, that's an interesting way to talk about it like that, but there's not a lot of people out there, man, who care about all of the people, the white and the black and the brown and the ladies and the gentlemen and the whatever. You are an all-encompassing creator. You care about everybody equally. Is that right?
Again, I try to think that I treat people, fairly, except for if you work for the government, then I got a problem with you.
All right, man. Now, you bought baseballs from the guys with they use the steroids and stuff. Tell me about the one bondsman, Barry Bonds, I think his name is, with the anabolic steroids.
And he's a black man.
Right, okay. I was looking for more about his skills as a baseball player, not his race. But okay, that's a start. Let's move off of that. I like to ask in an interview, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this? Whoa.
Dinosaurs. It's a miracle.
Yeah, man. Okay, all right. Let's do a little word association. How about that? I'm going to say something, and you're just going to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, man. All right? Hamburgers.
Burnt and charred.
All right. Neil Gaiman, man. Sandman guy. Whoa.
It's a guy from the pit of hell that deals with Satan.
The American government.
You know, America, as we know it, is going to the pits.
With this movie you have coming out, Spawn, what is it truly about?
I call it Batman if he wasn't controlled by corporate America.
Whoa.
And I also had superpowers, ran around with tight underwear and punched people in the face.
That's deep, man. That's really deep. I never would have thought that. Any words of wisdom for somebody like myself, Comic Tim?
Can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it.
All right. Well, will the Spawn movie, will it be rising the value of the books that are attached to it? You know, the hot book, top 10, you know, that kind of thing.
$300 million. Woohoo!
Whoa, you're a deep man, Mr. Mcfarlane. Any new things coming on the horizon in maybe in the world of the shopper image and the shopping malls all across America?
40-foot cape and 60-foot t-shirt.
All right, well, one last thing I want to ask you. The guy, West Coast Davengers, I think you maybe talk to him 20 years from now on his YouTube channel. Any words of advice from a young entrepreneur like him, man? Whoa.
The easiest way to bore yourself is to keep telling the same joke over and over and over and over and over.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. McFearless.
Todd.
Any last words for the young folk or the old folk out there, or any of the folk of all types of genders or races or creeds? Man, all inclusive here.
As soon as everybody does hell, I'm going to heaven.
All right, well, thanks for watching Comic Tim's interview sesh. I'm Comic Tim.
If you're in that car going 100 miles an hour to the wall, and you hit the wall, and you get this great big explosion, and you die, that's okay, because it was like, wow, that was a pretty cool-looking death.
In 1980, Comic Tim had a little-known interview show called Comic Tim's Interview Sesh. It only had 2 episodes and was canceled. Recently, those tapes were uncovered.
Whoa, man. All right. Whoa, man. I'm Comic Tim, and welcome to Comic Tim's Interview Sesh, man. I'm honored today, man. I've never spoken to a god before, but today I'm speaking with Poseidon, man, Greek god, man.
Zeus.
Oh, all right, man, I'm speaking of Zeus.
The context is always important.
All apologies, man.
Absolute mess.
Your Earth name is Al? Alan Moore, right?
Probably pretty true.
All right, yeah, man. Okay, I understand what you're putting down, man. You want me to call you Al like that song about bodyguards and stuff?
Yes, it's probably necessary.
All right, Al. Do you like basketball, man?
As if it was a god.
Kobe or MJ?
Move on to something else.
LeBron? We'll come back to that, man. I know, you're a little confused, so am I. Why are we in this gymnasium? You've written comic booklets about watching men and extraordinary gentlemen. What were they about, man?
Gay culture or gay society.
I didn't know that, but I'm an ally, man. Whoa. Can you give me a tip on how to write a riveting story, Al?
As soon as he or she has identified a technique that they're using, they abandon it. But the most important thing is the writing itself.
I'm sorry, did you say writing? Like looting and stealing and stuff like that?
Writing.
That's kind of weird, but alright. You don't seem very happy, man. When was the last time you were truly happy, Al?
When William Burroughs died.
That's kind of weird answer, but I'm just asking the questions, man. Your comic books have been adapted for film and all of that stuff multiple times, and most notably your Watching Men book was adapted by a young fellow named Zack Snyder, I believe. What are your thoughts on Zack Snyder, man?
Well, he is the last real writer.
Oh.
At least in my probably somewhat extreme opinion.
You ever think that you might be able to write a comic book story about me, Comic Tim?
I'm just not interested in it.
Let's just talk about something else. Hypothetically, YouTube comic book content creators like West Coast Davengers guy, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Incredibly interesting and immensely powerful deity.
Getting back to basketball, man. Do you want to keep playing basketball even into your old age, man? Because you're kind of old for a god.
People like this. This is making me money. I think I'll do this or variations on it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, man. What do you say to other fellow writers and comic book writers that are looking to get into pro sports?
Move on to something else.
Whoa. I'd like to ask all of my subjects their thoughts on the great Turok, the dinosaur hunter, man.
It's important to our sense of identity.
Hot book, you know.
People who are just doing it for the money.
If I ask you about Batman, will you be upset or is it okay?
That is when you are probably finished.
Will you ever go back to being a god and not just this mortal flesh bag on Earth, man?
They could probably improve upon that, but I think that at least it gives people a basis to understand what these important parts of their lives, what they meant.
So who do you have to win the NBA title this year, Al? Don't worry about it. You don't have to answer, man. Well, thanks for joining me today, Mr. Al. More of you we will see again, man, but any parting last words to say to the comic book fans out there, man? Whoa.
I'm not saying I've got anything against God.
All right, thank you, man. Apu. Welcome back to Comic Tim's interview Sesh. Now I'm sitting here with this gentleman, Stanley. What's your last name, man?
Kenneth Johnson.
So you're not Stanley?
Ken Johnson.
Who? Me?
Unbearably foolish looking.
Oh, all right, man. Let's clear the air here, man. What do comic books mean to you, man?
Nonsensical stories.
Do you like movies, Mr. Stanley?
Take that, you rat. Tell you a funny story about I had a cameo.
Okay. Your favorite cameo was in that movie about shopping malls by that fat guy, the one who's really quiet and silent, right?
For some reason, women have told me they love that shot.
Oh, okay, all right, man.
Hulk crush.
All right, let's talk about a little bit of history, man. Tell me about your role with orange juice. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm talking about O.J. Simpson. Yeah, tell me about your role with him, man.
He was in a court, and there was a jury in the box. I was the foreman of the jury.
And what was he like in court?
One of the nicest guys I have ever known.
Whoa.
He's one of the sweetest, gentlest men you could ever meet.
I don't like your vibe, man. Whoa.
That's the story, you know.
Let's move it forward a little bit. Are you sad that Jimothy Lee and Todd Mcfarlane and Robert Liefeld and Silverstein and Valentino all left Marvel to start the Sharper Image, man?
They left out the humor. They left out the human interest and playing up the personality and characterizations and personal problems.
Yeah, man, I understand, man. Now tell me, what do you think about that guy Dave from the West Coast Davengers, man? Whoa.
An interesting, complex hero with a lot of personal problems.
All right, man. Well, tell me about your favorite comic book character of all time, the great Turok.
I think the average reader can empathize with him and could say, gee, yeah, that happened to me. Sure, I know how he feels.
Right on. Have you ever fought a dinosaur, man?
Take that, you rat.
Any advice to someone out there who's trying to follow on this Comic Tim's footsteps, man?
Tell you a funny story about he may bore the hell out of you. I really shouldn't be doing this because Aunt May is ill at home and I know she needs some medicine.
What? I created a comic book Mr. Stanley?
Ken Johnson.
I created a comic book called The Insectoids, man. Do you like it?
Why don't you have a grasshopper man?
I'm sorry, I don't like grasshoppers, man.
Whatever.
All right, well, thank you for your time, Mr. Stanley.
Kenneth Johnson.
And, is there any last words you'd like to give to Comic Team's audience of comic book nuts? Maybe some insight or advice or just something nice, man.
Hulk, get him.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time and...
And there's one other thing I just thought of. Take that, you rat.
All right, well, back to you, man. Whoa.